All right, so let's talk about this, guys, because this is really, really important. So there was a recent FTC thing where they mandated that Genshin Impact, and I believe other gachas in the future will have to do this, but Genshin Impact would have to actually display the prices. When you buy a pack, it has to tell you what you're getting, like how many pulls you're getting, what is the price of them. Basically, it can't fool you anymore. Because whenever you buy something in a game, like let's say you buy a skin in League of Legends, it's like, this costs 1,360 riot points, right? And the whole purpose of that is to obfuscate how much money you're actually spending. So you spend money to buy a pack of points, and then you use denominations of that pack to then get certain things, right? And it fools your brain into not knowing what you're actually buying, right? That's the whole point. Every single gacha game does this, by the way. It's just natural. Not just gachas either. This is just every game out there does that. You have to buy some points, some like fun bucks that you then use to buy something. This is what every game does, right? And it's never like, oh, 100 points equals $1, right? It's never like that, because then that would be too simple to the brain to turn into money and be like, oh, that's a scam. Well, the FTC passed a law where they're like, you now have to actually display what you're getting. So $100 is 50.5 pulls in the game. And I think it's saying right here that each pull is $1.98. So a single pull is $2, basically, right? And if you look right here, look how inefficient some of these are. So it's $1 is a third of a pull if you buy this, which is insanity, right? Now, I've heard some people saying like Genshin W, and look, if they did it of their own volition, I would actually be like, huge Genshin W, and I would be patting them on the back. I'd be like, dude, huge consumer win. Bro, they did this because it's the law. Saying you followed the law is not a W, bro. Like, that's not a W, bro. Like, you followed the law. You have to do that now, bro. Like, you're not doing this because you want to. You've been doing this practice the whole time. It's just now you gotta do this. There's no company that wants to do this. But this is actually a huge deal. And like, I'm not even exaggerating. This actually genuinely will make companies lose money doing this. Because so many people are not willing to spend this kind of money if they actually know exactly how much it is. Like, nobody is willing to spend money as willingly if they see how much they're really getting out of this, right? Because like, let's pretend you buy the $50 pack, right? You're like, man, $50 for 24 pulls? In your head, that just feels so bad, right? $100 for 50 pulls too. It's like, man, that's not even enough for a pity. I'm paying $100 and I don't even get a pity? Man, that sucks, right? So each pull I'm doing is at $2. So every time you click that button, you're spending $2. A lot of people are going to be like, ugh, right? It makes you a little bit more cautious about what you're spending. Right here, they also have to display the price of pity. Look at this. The cost of obtaining a 5-star event exclusive character may vary from $1.98 to $475.20. So basically Fob Master, from $1 or $2 to Fob Master, right? Bro spent $400 on this hoe, right? So a single copy, because of the 50-50 system, keep in mind, right? So this is, you go all the way to pity, lose 50-50, go all the way to pity again, right? Is close to $500, including capturing radiance or whatever. Is this country specific? You open Genshin and it doesn't show this. It's on NA as well. Okay, so it's NA only? Because I believe that Europe was getting into this stuff, but I know the FTC as well was really hounding them on it. Yeah, $500. That's pretty crazy to think about. I would love for them to have shown the amount of money it took to get a weapon when the game first came out. It'd be like, it could cost anywhere from $2 to infinity icon. When it first came out, it could cost anywhere from $2 to an infinite amount of money. About time? Yep, about time, dude. And here's another big thing that they had to put in as well. Dear travelers, we're required by law to age verify US player accounts. It'll be rolled out on May 20th. So now 8-year-old Timmy, I guess, can't play the game and start swiping with his mom's credit card. Me personally, I think you should have to be 16 to play a gacha game. That's my opinion. 15 or 16 minimum. I know a lot of people will say 18, but like I've met 16-year-olds that are smarter than 18-year-olds. It's like a gap of 2 years. Like, I don't really think it matters that much in terms of like playing a gacha game personally. That's just me. I think 12 and 13 is a little too young, right? Yeah, how I see it, guys, if you can work a job, I think you should be allowed to play a gacha game. And 16 years old in the US, you can work a job. I think you need like parental permission and other stuff, but you can, right? I think if you can work a job, you should be allowed to, you know, play a gacha. That's just my feeling. Yeah, I think that this is just a huge consumer win though, overall. I think this is a great thing. One question I have is, with these changes, do you think gachas might pull out of NA? If gachas were gonna pull out of NA, then Genshin would have left just now. If gachas had to pull out of, or wanted to pull out of NA because of these things, then Genshin would have just left. They would have just been like, I'm out. They're the industry leaders. So they made the decision to stay, and they're like at top of the world basically. So I don't think they're gonna go anywhere. And if you think about it, there's actually many gachas, or not gachas, sorry, many games out there that have to change their monetization to make it way better in the West. Like, look at a game like, let's say, Lost Ark. I know Lost Ark is a stupid pay-to-win game, right? But they actually have to have a way more free-to-play friendly setup in the West than in Korea. And a lot of other games that come from the East actually do that too, is they have to set up a system that's like more player-friendly in the West because they know it won't sell. So like, if that happens, then I think gacha games are also okay with following through with that. That's how I see it. It depends on the publisher, obviously, in that instance, but that's basically how they go about it. Yeah, so this is a huge win, though. Okay, the weapon costs $422. Okay, so worst case scenario, if you want one character and their weapon, you're basically spending $900, which is unbelievably terrible. New GPU or character, $900 trying to buy a GPU. Look at this guy, Mr. Optimist here. The price shown is kind of off. Apparently, it's calculated based on buying the 60 Primo Gem pack every single time. Really? You know why that's extra interesting to me? Is that means they're basically making it look even worse than it actually is. So like, they're doing themselves a disservice, basically. I think they have to though. They have to show the literal worst conceivable situation that could ever occur, which is if you only buy the $1 pack 1,000 times like a moron. I would almost say they should remove the $1 pack. It actually makes the banners look even worse than it actually is. I've never seen someone buy the $1 pack, bro. That shit is ass. Cognosphere, the distributor of Genshin Impact, to reach a settlement agreement with the United States Federal Trade Commission to strengthen and increase transparency around our parental consent and virtual currency practices. A statement from Cognosphere is below. Animation style games and shows are well received by global audiences and players across various ages. Genshin Impact is a popular free-to-play anime style game designed for older teens and adults. While we believe many of the FTC's allegations are inaccurate, we agreed to the settlement because we value the trust of our community and share a commitment to transparency for our players. Yes, you were so transparent that all these years you didn't decide to put that in the game. Under the agreement, we will introduce new age gate and parental consent protections for children and young teens and increase our in-game disclosures around virtual currency and rewards for players in the US in coming months. So straight up, let me just say this, guys. Anyone who is against any of this stuff is an animal, like subhuman. These are all giant wins for the human race, basically, at this point. Like, straight up. Like, this is just good for every single person. Age ratings so that younger kids aren't playing the game. Showing how much what you're buying is actually worth and the amount of money. The transparency of it is just huge. You have to give them your ID to verify age. I don't know. I don't know how it works. Do we know how this is going to work? Age verification process will be rolled to all US players. I'm not sure how you do age verification. Technically, just clicking a button saying that you're older than 13 is age verification in most games. I'm not really sure if that means you need like a government ID. I don't think it does. I don't think it does, but I can't confirm to you exactly how that's going to perform. Does it apply to Genshin or all gacha games? This is specifically Genshin, but I think over time, all gacha games are going to have to implement these same things. The thing is, you have to realize that the people who work in governments, they're boomers. They have no idea what the hell is going on at any given moment. Gachas are a newer thing, so the boomers are starting to now catch up with that kind of stuff, right? Kind of like how people do cryptocurrency scams all the time and don't go to jail, right? They don't even get in trouble. It's like because it was a newer thing. So the government being more aware of gacha games is kind of just a good thing, because gacha games, they've kind of just been the Wild West. Most of the laws that exist in gachas is literally because of Japan. Japan gachas have scammed their players so hard, so unbelievably hard nonstop for years that so many laws have been added. Yeah, like Grand Blue Fantasy laid the path for having to show rates in gacha, because before it would just say like, this is the banner for Monkey King, and it wouldn't tell you what the odds are of getting Monkey King was. Isn't that cute? I think this is a huge win, and I think we should all be happy this is happening, and hopefully more games will adopt this in the future and it will become a worldwide thing, because it's just good for the consumer. The more laws of this kind go into place, the better it is for all players. Look, think about it this way, guys. Genshin Impact this month is going to make more money than Expedition 33, a game that took 5 years to make and might be one of the best games ever made. Think about that. Some trash ass gacha is going to make more money in a month just releasing slop than like a game that takes years to make and effort from all these people, right? And that's just a crazy thing to think about, to effort, right? It's pretty insane. Gachas make way more money than they should be making. And when you think about like how many hundreds of dollars people are spending to get barely anything in these games, it's pretty wild. So I think over time, governments are going to start catching on to this more and more, and they're going to start cracking down more and more. I think that, well, it seems like the US has started, but also Europe's going to probably get heavily into that as well. And I think we're going to start seeing a lot more of this, at least in the West. I don't know about the East. Maybe that's not going to happen in the East anytime soon, but in the West, I think they're going to start really cracking down on this stuff. And hey, it's about time. This is a good thing. Huge win for the consumer, man. EU is big on this. EU likes to do this. They like to micromanage baby every single person, which is sometimes good and sometimes bad. You know, like they go over the line on babying the people sometimes, but also they fix a lot of fucked up bad things too. So it's like good and bad to me, in my opinion. This will help games, microtransactions like Battle Pass and scam stuff like FIFA. So here's the thing. Here's another thing I would like to add, guys. When this FTC report first came out, there were all these little babies complaining about it, being like, wow, why are they targeting Genshin? Wow, like all these like dumb dick rider defenders for no reason. I don't care what game this is affecting. Should it affect FIFA? 100%. Should it affect even stuff like League of Legends? Absolutely. This should affect basically all games. But what's important is this is now like a case study. They now can refer to this if they want to make a sweeping law, right? If they want to make a law where all games should do this, they can be like referring to the Cognosphere statement FTC settlement. We found this thing. We want to apply this to everything. So once you have one case where it works like that and you have a precedent, you can now make a blanket thing for everything, essentially, right? A settlement isn't a precedent though. You're right. It's not exactly, but the fact that they basically won this thing and the company had to settle for it and make a bunch of concessions, I think does make it so it's like, it worked in this case. Maybe we should make a bigger law for it, right? And a lot of people were saying like, why are they attacking Genshin and they're not attacking XYZ game? It's like, I want them to go after all games with this kind of thing. It's a plus. It's literally just a good thing. But they have to start somewhere. They're not going to just be like FTC versus everybody day one, right? I think they want to do like a few battles before they go all in. And Genshin is the biggest #1 game. So it kind of makes sense to go after them first. Actually, I would say FIFA. I mean, I'm gonna be real, guys. They should have just shot FIFA in the face, bro. Like, go after FIFA first. But like, hey, Genshin also makes sense. Genshin and FIFA are the two games that they should go after. 100%. They're the two biggest ones in that case. I think it's a huge plus, and I'm glad they did this.